The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage.
Are you ready to elevate your leadership and communication skills to a global level? Join Karis Copeland and Char for the Art of Diplomacy Challenge, a transformative 3-day event that explores the powerful connection between strategic communication and marketplace diplomacy. Unlock the skills to lead with empathy, build lasting relationships, and make an impact in the global business arena, all rooted in the strength and beauty of the African diaspora. Don't miss your chance to learn from world changers and spread your positive influence across the world. Reserve your spot today.
Shalom. Salama. Siemi. Shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, I welcome you this morning, a somber morning, a humiliating morning, a shocking morning. For them folks, for them folks. You know, the saddest reality is it is going to get more crazier because these folks are going to get unhinged. They were drinking their own Kool-Aid. I think I said that last night. At the end of the day, it's the wallet that does the talking. I don't care what you say about, he's such a bad man. I don't care what you call a criminal. Listen, the U.S. was founded on criminals, so stop. The U.S. was founded on human traffickers. That's how my ancestors got here, so stop. Every single straw man argument that they had, and we already knew what time it was. Nah. They listen, it was either Barabbas or Clarence. That's the Pharaoh that they chose. Okay. I think we all saw that a mile away. Pharaoh A or Pharaoh B? Pharaoh Twitty Dumb or Tweety Doo? Twitty Dumb or Twitty Dumber? And people are getting all bent out of shape like he was actually going to win. I want Donald Trump to not win. Here's your pink slip. Good luck with that. That's fine. I get uh, 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 kicked out of my job. That's fine. I get fired as long as Trump doesn't win. And now you're starting to hear, oh, Russia's doing this, Russia's doing that. Russia. Yo, they're going big time. It's the same playbook. I think we said this. Immediately, Russia's going to do, it's Russia. Russia installed the Manchurian candidate, and it's. Yeah, yeah, you're right, brother Doug. If she had stayed Indian, she would have had a better choice of her Calcutta roots than Kingston roots. I'm just saying. When you're trying to talk about Ocho Rios and you needed to stick with Bombay or Mumbai, that's when you messed up. when you were trying to lecture black folks and you really needed to lecture the Hispanics, and that they're like, yo, we're in this country now. Lock the door. Lock the door. We're here. Lock the door. Oh, we're gonna keep the country open for everybody. Oh, I was in a WhatsApp group this morning, and in the chat, I'm not gonna. Let me read this because this mess was hilarious. I don't know if I don't really think they really understood this. this person said. This person said here. Oh well, she could run again in 2028 and go through the primaries. Yo, she loses in the primaries. That's why they didn't want her to run in the primaries. That's why they tried the biggest political hoopla ever, and they still couldn't pull that off. I think I went to bed. It was about 2:14. When I went to bed, and I knew that Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, and it looked as though I could see Wisconsin was all going to get called. All the other stuff is now just for semantics. And people are like, oh, it's going to be the greatest 4 years. I don't think we're going to last 4 years. If you think we're going to last 4 years, hey, good on you. But I'm going to give you a couple reasons of why we're not going to last 4 years. See, understand the damage had already been done 2.5 years ago. That was Russia. The damage had already been done when the initial response to the Russian military going through Ukraine showed you something. People did not want to support a war. People didn't have the stomach for a war. And quite frankly, I don't believe, this is my personal opinion, I don't believe the American technology can now withstand Russian and Chinese technology. Furthermore, the serious erosion and degradation of the US dollar around the world does not support American innovative measures. And if you are a scientist, where are you going to take your time, your gift, and your talents? Well, there are some places in China that look nice. There are some places in Russia that look nice as long as you don't get a drone attack or any other missiles being shot. And there are some other satellite areas that are nice. Guess what? UAE. Guess what? Egypt. And those list of countries keep growing and growing and growing every single day because the problem now that America has had was that now you have Africa, the continent, and the continent is going to be like, all right, that's fine. Listen, you brought in Trump. Hey, cool. But guess what? Y'all ain't going to get any more access to this S-hole country. Oh, yeah, we don't forget. We never forget like y'all never forget. We carry grudges like y'all carry grudges. No, we're going to actually act like how you act. Have you seen the news story in Senegal where the country of Lebanon has said that they don't want African babies being born in Lebanon? So Senegal turned around. Excuse me, was it Senegal? I believe it is. Yes, Senegal turned around and said, we don't want Lebanese babies being born in Senegal. What? An African country standing up for itself? It must be the Traore effect. Do, 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 do. Da, da, da. We are entering a time of low weather where topsy-turvy and black and white are no longer existent. Da, da, da. Welcome to the Negro Light Zone. Da, da, da. Oh, and by the way, countries are realizing that on the African continent, um, when they don't have to worry about going through the dollar anymore, they can actually be worth a lot more than what someone else is telling them. I know that's hard here in America, especially for us, because we have been assigned a worth and a value by our oppressors. So it is very hard for us to understand that we are worth a lot more than what they state. I know it's difficult. It's a difficult concept, even for our people here. But understand they're learning that concept because they're seeing that concept in action over in the Sahel states. Oh my goodness. And they get a chance to see it in real time because of the amount of reporting that's happening via the internet, via social media, via many channels that they have going on. And understand that now, within the next couple of weeks, months, probably now days, they're going to then cut out these channels in Africa because, hey, they can't show us that there's progress being made over there because their incline is our decline. And that can't happen, not with us. That can't happen, not with a people that has now been asking questions for the last 8, 9, 10 years. That has now been saying, hey, there is a lot of material here. And now you have a people that are now agreeing with us and their roots that's in question now, as they're realizing that they had been from Europe all along. Wait a second. We have to answer these hard questions because why? Because folks are asking, folks are researching, and folks are getting these results in their research that's counter to what has been stated. Right? When people tell you that this is the reality and then the poll result tell you otherwise, was it really reality to begin with? No, it's called deception, manipulation, witchcraft. Nobody is voting. No, for him, deception, manipulation, witchcraft. Shalom, brother Mikael. Shalom, brother Mikael.
Shalom, shalom, brother Carey. How you doing, brother?
Well, I'm a little tired because stayed up a little late last night, but I went to bed understanding that this is exactly what I was going to be talking about this morning, and it didn't disappoint.
Hey, I'm a little exhausted. I was watching last night, and man, I was sitting I was just laughing my butt off because it was funny to me.
Wait, wait,
I
wait.
ain't gonna lie,
Okay,
brother Carey.
okay, brother Mikael. I'm sorry, but when they said when they go low, we go high, and Kamala didn't even show up to address anybody. She just said, "Man, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm out." She didn't even address
That's
anybody.
I know it. And that's who they wanted to be president. What a coward! That was she's a sore loser, man. I'm like, man, she didn't even call President Trump and say, congratulations, I concede from the race. Because that's what they're supposed to do.
Well,
He didn't
yes,
even
they're
do
supposed to do that, but when they go low,
it. Well, hey,
man.
what was, can be, will be, and you won't be president. That's what that is. Woo! Lord, hey, we dodged the bullet, bro. We dodged the bullet,
When
and I
when
mean
they
literal
go
bullets.
low, we do shoestring tackles. We just clip people. We take out feet, ankles. Oh boy, let's get wild with Brother Doug. Brother Doug in the building.
Brother Doug, shalom.
Good. Shalom, 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 my
I just can't
brothers.
do anything for black people. No.
Ooh, man, do you know, I heard the draws rip. when she started preparing collard greens. When she was washing them collard greens, I just imagine black people everywhere looking at the screen just going, what is this woman doing? This was the first Indian elected to Congress. They made a big deal about it. I remember, and I'm going to tell you when Trump won, when he had the temerity, the gonads, in front of a sea of black women to say, hey, I, I thought she was Indian.
I
When
thought
did she
she
become a
was
black
black.
person?
Yes, she
In
did.
front of that won him the election because you know those things that make you go,
Mm.
he has a point. And that won him the election. I'm going to be honest. I thought she had a shot. I thought it was going to be a fight, but it was a sound thrashing,
Oh
and
my
he
God.
won.
Okay, okay, brother Doug, brother Mike. Yeah. All right. Was that information operation out of this world in terms of, oh, she's going to be the next president? Oh, it's in the back. Was that out of this world? And she had to have all of these antics from celebrities.
Yeah, the celebrity thing really. I'm gonna just keep it 100. It creeped me out. Let me explain. You know, I follow. I'm sure you guys who follow what I do, which I write. Okay,
Mhm.
these people, these people are not good people. What are you doing? J Lo, no, no, man, look, it's out. Did he? You know, no. Cat Williams called it deviance, and you gonna trounce. Do you know? Does she understand what these people have been talking about over the last few days? The things they're running from, and the videos that are being shopped around, and she has the I don't understand how she would actually put these people in front of the American public, tell them to vote for her, like they don't watch everything, like I do, like everybody does.
Mm.
I mean, what are you doing? I don't know, man. It almost seems like they wanted her to hand it to him, the idiot moves.
Exactly, exactly. And I mean, listen, and I tell you, look, Trump was no better with Hulk Hogan and all those other, crazy antics. It wasn't. But what Trump was doing, he was feeding to the demographic. He already knew he was feeding to the demographic. That was the white voters. And understand this. Oh no, we're not in any great shape with Trump being in office. Absolutely not. I would actually say this is the opposite. And understand when you hear about these mass deportations, understand the key and the clue word. Because understand there's some things that's going on with the ICC and ICJ that a lot of Americans really don't understand. And yes, that definitely affects each and every one of us. See, understand to be aware of the okadoke. And I know the okie and I see the okie because we've been talking about the okie. They'll say, oh, well, we're trying to go after criminals and things of that nature. And then they'll be like, what, wait a second. Wait a second. Black folks really aren't US citizens. Well, we got to lessen our dirt, our 35 trillion plus and counting, almost $36 trillion debt bubble. That's what's getting ready to be on the table. On top of that, nah, there ain't no coming back from war. We're on the path to war. It's just going to be, will the American people be more comfortable with a Trump on the path to war or Kamala?
I think with Trump it goes a bit faster. I think with Trump, he's like a bull in a china shop. Once he gets back in office, the moves that he makes are aggressive and blunt and without sharpness. He is an obtuse tool of use for these people, a blunt object. Okay, he's a hammer, and everything these people look at are going to be a nail. And let's not forget that he said he was going to be a dictator on day one. Folks, this is just the calm before the storm, Brother Karras. Things are not bad. If they were bad, it would be manageable.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't bad. This is beyond bad. But we have to be measured in our response. We have to understand that he lays in wait with thoughts against Negroes that are not good. You can stop with the nonsense. I don't care who he puts in front of us. You're
Mm-hmm.
right. Hulk Hogan was not shy about himself. You know, the jokesters at Madison Square Garden didn't call Puerto Rico a garbage dump because they're in love with people of color. So there's a plot and a plan. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
folks, he's bringing back all the people that he gave pardons to. I wish you'd understand Steve Bannon out of jail. Let me
Mm-hmm.
explain something about Steve
Last
Bannon.
week he just got out of jail, and now he's
Yeah,
really,
that's a
and now he's back
yeah,
in. Come
that's
on
a
now.
dangerous dude. That's a
You know,
dangerous dude.
he's coming for blood. He's
And he's
coming for
coming
blood.
for blood. He's
Yeah.
got
Look,
months
white
of
listen.
pent up. Yeah, good.
Yeah. White folks aren't supposed to be up in their own jails. That's not
Oh my
supposed to happen.
God. Thank you, Karis. And
Come on.
he's got all of these. I'm gonna say he's got all these white males with pent up anger against black women, primarily black men, secondarily. And Trump is the mechanism through which they will wield their resentment. And let me explain, folks,
Hmm.
get small because the rise of the sentiment of white supremacy is about to increase. You don't
Yeah.
think so? They just elected the beast.
Well, they elected their consent towards, listen, even no matter what, we were always going to lose because at the end of the day, what issues did in that election actually focused on black folks? And no, abortion rights and reproductive rights does not focus on black people. I'm sorry, it does not. Reparations does. Economic justice does. Ask those farmers if they ever got anything paid on their settlement. I still believe they're waiting for that first dime. Oh yeah, they won the case, but they can't get it funded through Congress. Sorry, because we just can't do something just for black people. No.
No, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely not. What is this?
well, yeah.
And
What is
that
this?
little
Hey, Karsh,
Equality?
that
Democracy?
I'm in
What?
South Alabama. I'm in South Alabama,
And you're driving a truck
and
too.
these
You
white
better
folks
be
are so
careful.
happy.
Be careful. Yeah, they're good. So careful. They're
Oh
going to
no,
say, "You
oh
need to
no, no,
county
no. They,
up.
they,
Celebration
hey, they
time."
opened the door for me. Boy, they so happy this morning. They is happy this morning. I'm telling you now, they is happy. Y'all, I can see them. They smiling in their cars. They is happy this morning.
Christmas
Hello
done
there.
came early, Earl.
Hello there. We took the country back, Earl. Thank you, Jethro. We did our part. We got our country back. The petrodollar's coming back. The stock market is gonna go back up into a exponential surplus, and we're just gonna come back and be the best ever again.
Well, yeah, but the reality is going to quickly sink in that the dollar has been destroyed. It's going to be tanking. Their traditional partnerships with Middle Eastern countries, it's not there, and BRICS is steadily on the rise. So
Yep.
they're in a very bad world. So
Rudo is really assuming himself to join BRICS right now, and Rudo was just talking to the U.S. president like 2 months ago. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, everybody's trying to figure out because you have to understand there is a backlash. That's why Saudi Arabia said we can't join BRICS, but we're going to operate, or be cooperative with BRICS folks. They are on the fence because why? Because I'm going to tell you this. Yeah, we're going to kind of go into some heavy conspiracy theory modes. Why didn't Kamala come on out and at least congratulate the president? Has anybody heard from Kamala? Shoot, has anybody heard from the White House?
No, they're
That's
on quiet. They've got a blackout going on because they don't really know how to respond. And just to further the whole BRICS Russia thing,
go ahead, brother Doug, because it's gonna get you. Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm just saying, is Trump not an agent of the Russian government? Is he not I mean, is this woman he's married to not a red sparrow? Is he not trying to do business? I mean, is he not handing the United States gently and quietly to its enemies and allow them to just put the last daggers in the backs of the American public? I believe he might. I believe he might.
I think
Well,
he
I'm gonna
made.
say this now. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Trump is all about money. Is that fair to agree? Trump is literally all about money.
Yes,
He
whatever
doesn't
makes
even
the
care.
most money.
He doesn't care about Russia. Honestly, he doesn't care about China. Honestly, but I'm gonna tell you what he does care about. He cares about this people making money because honestly, it gets funneled back to really his pockets. Yeah, Trump on paper may not be a billionaire, but those folks around him that support him, oh, they've made their billions and they will now make their billions because guess what? Do you think that the war in Ukraine is just going to stop? Absolutely not. They're making their billions. They're making their billions backstopping Poland, backstopping Romania, backstopping Moldova, and other European nations. It's a big old arms race. Hey, we got you into this war. Now you may need to buy our weapons because that may save you. Do you all see that?
It's just the American way to make money and exploit. Make money off of exploitation. Nothing to see here. I mean,
Exactly. Now let me get back to this point that you made, Brother Doug, about the White House and the White House blackout. Now let me ask you this. Here's the ultimate spin. I would not be surprised that the White House comes out and says there have been emergency measures regarding Biden and his health after the election. So during this time, there has been a transfer of power. And the White House needed time to be able to coordinate and disseminate the information. Come on now. You know that that is so convenient.
But then what? But then if that, I mean, I thought you were going in a different direction. I thought maybe you thought they might wrestle power, or, we're not at January 20th yet, folks. He's not
No,
president yet,
you
and
don't
there's
have
no
to.
telling what these people are going to do.
No, here's the thing. You don't have to wrestle power. Nobody has to wrestle power. She's already in office as a vice president. Biden has already showed that he has frailties. That's why he dropped out. This could have been so overwhelming to Biden's health that he is no longer physically feasible, to be able to properly manage the country in its condition, due to the heartbreaking loss that was suffered last night. And then they'll come out with their transition of power while they really kick off World War III, in my opinion. I mean,
And
really.
and then and then what do you think? Pause. Is that me? Sorry.
Oh yeah, I
Hold
think
on.
that is it.
Uh, I'll fix it. Go ahead.
So what do you? And I'm just listen. I'm throwing that on out there because look, I'm going to tell you this. This is the realm of possibility.
no, that's very plausible. I mean, that's more likely to happen than him getting into office and then we waiting to January. Honestly, there's so much stuff and escalation going on, and so much moves being made in Africa. With Africans in China and Russia continuing to get their influence to, procure different resources, strategic minerals, and all this stuff in Africa. They have no time to,
They don't.
dibble dabble with these American politics and put on the pony show for everyone till January. They have to really make some moves now, honestly. So that is a lot more plausible, Karis.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's where I see that coming through, because no matter what, they've caught this office, this administration, they buried themselves. And no, I don't see them ceding power anytime soon, because, right, technically speaking, they haven't ceded any power. All they did was they just called the election with the election results, where, Wisconsin, is potentially in the bag. Pennsylvania is potentially in the bag, and Georgia. And you have a strong lead in Michigan, and you have a strong lead um in Arizona and Nevada. And this is according to CNN. I'll share that screen with you all so you can see this, and I'll put this link in the chat. So
I see what you're saying, brother Karras. Because she didn't concede from the race after
she did not
they say that
concede.
Trump. So I think their argument gonna be, well, they was burning ballot boxes. Maybe we could have won this state. They was burning ballot box. They was burning. You got so many scenarios. In the first scenario that you presented, I could see that actually happening.
Yeah,
Something like Bush and Gore, because I was too young to understand whatever technicality they tried to draw it out on and give Bush eventually the win. But is that what you're talking about here?
well, here's the thing. If you're looking at this map right here, there were like 0 states flipped by Harris. 0 states. And Trump potentially had about 3 states, and potentially 5 more states. Or excuse me, 5
Uh,
states in total.
hey, brother Karras. One more thing. On Redacted yesterday, I was watching Redacted. Don't you know she can vote herself in the White House? If it come down to going to the Supreme Courts if they can prove that the election was miscounted and this and that, and she actually won this state, just for an example, Georgia, she has the power as a sitting vice president to vote herself into power. They said that on
That
I
Redacted yesterday.
that
I
they
do not.
she can vote
Go ahead.
herself into the presidency.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah,
Yes.
if everything go through the proper procedure of the courts from the states. I'm just gonna use Georgia for example. It goes through Georgia little Supreme Court, and then they got to go to the high Supreme Court, which is the federal, and the federal level gonna turn it over to the Senate. If she's over the Senate, she
And
can
the
vote
Senate's in
herself in the
control.
presidency.
Yep, and they're in control right now. Yeah. So understand. All right. So yesterday I was talking about the steps towards a civil war, and people try to act like a civil war is going to happen. You know, bam, right away, everybody's armored up. You have convoys, and people are coming through with tundras instead of Hiluxes, with crew served weapons to fight each other. No, there are literally key steps towards this. You have your political unrest. This was now T R, and actually, what is it? D plus, right? It's D plus because day. This is technically day 1, and so it's D plus. You had D Day.
Oh
People
snap!
deployed over the line of departure, which is the election. The first major act was she did not come out to concede a vote count that is now clearly going to be in Trump's favor. Next, you're going to have more political unrest, because why? Because You can start to see the setup coming of, well, Russia called in a bomb threat in Atlanta, and we all know how hot Atlanta can be. And when you're looking at that as a hotspot in the realm of a civil war or insurgency, these civil wars are going to be different because these civil wars are going to have different nodes of where fighting is going to be. Fighting's not going to be everywhere, but fighting is going to be in different locations. Because why? Because there's going to be regional components of how you're going to have an area of responsibility to. Oh, that's me. Oh my goodness. Give me a second, family. Let me switch up
Oh,
my.
that changed my mic and everything.
I mean, my mic is on, so I don't know if that's doing anything.
It's the folks that are monitoring this conversation, little interference they're running.
Yeah, yes, brother Doug, we're being watched.
That's all. We're being watched. Watch away.
It's nothing new. Nothing new.
Please, I mean,
We're
really.
always being watched.
Yeah, we're always being watched.
They are watching us.
I don't know. I'd lose a little
I have my
respect if they
tinfoil
weren't
hat
watching.
on. I have my tinfoil hat on for a reason.
I've been meaning to tell you, Karis, that don't work.
It doesn't work like, CNN pollsters. Is that what you're
That
trying to
doesn't
say?
work, man. No. Yeah. Gotta have a certain gauge. Kids can't have that store-bought stuff. You gotta go to the I'll send you a link.
my Mylar hat, tinfoil hat. There you go.
Jesus.
With the flats.
But you're making me think now, man. I mean, I didn't know that she hadn't conceded. I listen, I didn't pay attention to this at all because I don't care which of these clowns they put in, that false place built by slaves. But I didn't know she didn't concede. I heard she didn't thank her supporters of, whatever. They're out there crying and she didn't show. But if they're plotting, if your thought is that they're plotting to do something, that's deep.
Yeah,
that's deep, folks.
There was a reason. Yeah. There were okay. And I'm going to Google this. Let's Google this. Did Kamala concede to Trump? And this is Newsweek. I'm going to share this article with you, and I like to make sure you all get the at least the facts in terms of what is being recorded for the last timely information of value. Here it is. This is published at 4:48 this morning. I'm going to share this tab. This is Newsweek. Did Kamala Harris concede? What campaign has said after election results? Kamala's campaign said there are still votes to count after she canceled her post-verdict speech at Howard University. That's over 4:48 this morning. That's less than 4 hours ago. It's 8:14 right now, Eastern Standard Time.
All they've been preaching for the last 6 months is how dangerous it would be for this man to return to power.
Come on now. Come on now.
Now you got me thinking.
Got you thinking. And I've been thinking.
Well, at first, in doing this, they would have to have every duck in a row. They're going to have to release something on Trump that turns the public against him without doubt, irreversibly. They'd have to release the releasing tape. I don't want to say P. God said it, but anyway, they'd have to do that. They'd have to do something to justify what you are proposing. And I got to tell you, Karis, they got the time to do it, and they got the mechanisms that they can push the buttons they can strangle the world into attacking the United States if they want.
Yes,
they can just launch a freaking, excuse me, they can just launch, I didn't say it, they can just launch a nuke. They could just launch a nuke. This is sinister. Now you got me thinking.
Okay,
Wow.
let me read this. Let me read this. This is the article. Okay. So I just read this. Kamala Harris's campaign said there are still votes to count after she canceled her post-verdict speech at Howard University. We still have votes to count. We still have states that have not been called yet. We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice is spoken. Kamala Harris's campaign co-chair Cedric Richmond said. So you won't hear from the vice president tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. Oh my good. Look, the emotional stigmatism is literally out of this world. Here we go. This is the last. This is. I want you to hear this. This is from the article. I'm sharing this right here, big, and I'm putting this right here. Harris, who has not conceded the election, was expected to host her election night party at Howard University in Washington, D.C., a historically black college, a historically black college. Key word, they're drawing every single piece of emotionalism here. Where she was in undergraduate. You've broken the dreams. This is this.
And they still trying to throw us under the bus. They still putting
Yes,
black
they
people
are.
in the mix. And the last thing I want to say, Brother Cam, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Civil war still on the table, brothers and sisters. If she go through, the Democrats go through with this, what's the day? Wednesday?
Yeah.
We could have a bloody Friday. Just saying. I'll be quiet.
And not only that, it's not just a mechanism. Look, they don't literally have to play something against Trump. They can put something in play that stops the process transferring power to Trump indefinitely. They have the
Yes.
power right now. They have to willingly hand it over. Oh, listen, everything has to be just right. Right now, we've just been attacked, or we've just attacked this person, and so United States is not in its perfect frame to transition. Oh man, don't even.
And what does
Dude.
that do right now? Because we've had that plenty of times in elections, even in Europe. They had that in Yugoslavia, post Yugoslavia, in the what was it, Baltic states? I wasn't really a Eastern European studied person, but basically we had, Serbia, Croatia, all those different places that never had very good voting mechanisms, transitions of power. They would always have some sort of what? United Nations security oversight. So now you're telling me that the biggest country in the world that promotes democracy, the biggest promoter of democracy around the world, I think that's better framed, is not going to be able to do what it has been known to do and has helped to do and has helped to spread democracy. And now it can't get democracy itself done right. Well, it's going to need help from an international body that wants to ensure that the safety of all the American citizens is being valued and respected. Is that a
That's
good political frame up?
That's interesting. I hadn't even, and you just brought that international thing. Even the UN could step in. She could invite them to step in.
Come
Listen,
on. Yeah,
the
come
one,
on.
the one thing I've got to say, Harris, is that what's echoing in my mind is the urgency with which they said he's a threat to democracy, and now that plays
Mhm.
into the unknown factor of what did they know about this man that we don't know? You
Hmm.
understand? What do they know about this attempt on his life, supposedly so fake? We couldn't, I mean, I couldn't understand how fake can be until I saw this nonsense. But what do they know about the back mechanisms of the guy that took a shot that was somehow associated with BlackRock? I mean, what? So you may be on to something in that, you know, and how the irony that they use an undemocratic process to preserve democracy.
Yeah, we got to save, because here's going to be the thing: we have to save America from itself.
Well, from the monster they created in Donald Trump, they brought this man up. They nurtured this man. They encouraged this buffoon to be successful. They literally lapped him up like he was elixir on the ground. I mean, and they
But
created the monster and handed
and
him
at
political power.
and at the same time, they put in front of the American people Kamala Harris, who, for lack of better words, could only say Donald Trump is bad. Donald Trump is bad. What's your policies? Donald Trump is bad. You see what I'm saying? So six dozen, six to half dozen another. That's not, nobody literally had a chance in this. No one literally had a chance in this because now everybody is going to be emotionalized because how earnest were they in saying you need to vote? You need to vote because why? They wanted to have the emotional tie-in because why? Because wars are built on emotion. You got to fight. You got to fight. You got to fight. And then when you logically approach someone and say, "What am I fighting for?" You weren't fighting for what I was asking for. Matter of fact, you turned a blind eye, and you literally ignored it and you spit in my face at the same time. So what are we literally fighting for? Don't come to us. We're out of this. Y'all want to go and do the crazy? Leave us out of the crazy. And that's when things are going to get a lot more interesting, especially for us, because at this dance, the blame game is then going to come back to us. Because when these exit polls and these polling places start to look at potentially our level of involvement within this selection election process, why weren't Black people anywhere to be found in this? Why were numbers of Black people, how come they were at historical lows? That's literally what they were saying last night on the live stream when I was streaming the MSNBC election results.
So wait, are you saying that they were the a no show of black people, not black people voting for Trump?
No, there were no show of the numbers that had traditionally been there in support, especially within the Philadelphia and Southeast Pennsylvania areas. And that was something that was very noticeable. And that was something that the person, that we were looking at had stated. He was stating,
What's
oh,
up
the
with the
returns are
rallies?
coming in.
Well, I thought what was the big rally numbers? I saw pictures of her with
He,
tens of thousands of people supporting her. What I don't get that.
the rallies were gimmicks because the gimmicks were you show up to do what? To have your entertainer there. So then they could twerk on stage thinking that they were going to get entertained by a concert. That's why they were booing her when Beyonce was there. They thought Beyonce was going to be there to perform, not to give a 5 minute speech and bounce.
Beyonce talking? Who pays Beyonce to talk?
Oh wow.
Exactly. That's
Oh
why they
wow.
were mad.
That's
Yes,
that's
that's
harsh. I
literally
like
why
him.
they were mad. They're
That's
like,
harsh.
okay, we'll hear a few
It's
words
just
from,
facts, brother Doug. You see Beyonce on that screen. Do you say, "Wow, she's so
Intelligence.
introspective
Uh,
and so such a great
philosopher.
person of substance"?
Rhodes Scholar. No, I don't see that. But I'm trying to figure out. She had Cardi B up there, and my issue is, does she even see how Cardi B be moving lately? I'm trying to figure why you had Cardi B on the political stage. Anyway. Anyway,
it was a scene from Coming to America where they went to the Queens Community Center, and the pastor had spoken, and they wanted to bring up Randy Watkins, the guard from That's My Mama, with sensual chocolate to perform, and then sensual chocolate didn't even perform.
wow. Cause you went there. You reached. You just dug deep for that one,
The
man.
greatest love inside of
Uh,
me.
there you
Yeah.
go. There you
Central
go.
chocolate, central chocolate.
There you go.
Boom,
Early in the
yes,
morning.
man. Boom.
It's 6:30 where I'm at. What are you doing, folks?
Boom.
Oh boy.
We
Well, I
want
was shocked. I thought it was going to be
oh,
a fight. I thought it was going to be a fight. I didn't think it was going to be. She got trounced. And if she's not conceding and she's going to do something for the good of the country, somebody pop some popcorn, get safe, and let's watch the hillbillies go at each other. I won't be
yo,
around for them to blame it on me. You're not going to be able to find me.
brother Doug, brother Doug. Uh, uh, black folks went to the ballot, and instead of giving Kamala their vote, they gave her eating up chicken wings with all the gristle gone.
Oh man, you know what? She insulted us. She insulted the intelligence of the black American voting public.
You
There's
just
no
get
one
chicken
that,
wing bones. You just get
yeah,
chicken
and then
wing bones.
and then do you see when she tried to talk with some flavor, like she could talk slang? I'm just imagining her parents cringing.
She got
I
that
was trying
deep
to figure
southern
this out.
twang.
What are
She
you
was saying,
doing?
"Listen,
Joy comes in the morning. Ain't that
What
right,
are you
brother
doing?
Scott? Joy comes in the morning.
Okay,
The
now,
morning.
man, I don't know. I don't think she could have lasted in front of me, not for 2, 3 minutes. No.
Go ahead, brother God.
no, I was just about to say, I just remember, I just heard just laughing and cackling. I make a good plate of collard greens." Literally her just shucking and jiving. I mean, literally, I remember we like jokingly, Robert Downey Jr.'s, you know, scene from Tropic Thunder. That's all that reminds me of when she's talking about collard greens. Mm, I was a saucer. Yeah, I could sauce up some greens. I'm sorry. I don't have anything serious to say. You could just skip me.
Oh my goodness. It's funny, and this is the most dangerous time that we've been here in this nation. Um,
But I mean, you do understand she could still concede and they could still be plotting something. I think they're using whatever calculus they have in their power to determine the best move because, Karis, there are several ways that they can handle this. Okay.
mm,
Well, yeah, they can snatch power through mechanism of political force. They can do that. They can
hmm
also start a war. They can poke a bear and allow it to start a war just poke the fat man in North Korea enough. He'll send the nuke your way, right? And but they have these are Democrats. And they have another option they can use. This man's been on The
I,
Simpsons portrayed laying down. I don't know
I,
what these people. I don't know.
I still believe this. Look, you would still have Kamala in this scenario taking office
even when you have a road to war situation, that the let's say that the U.S. See, here's the thing about war and mechanisms of war. Okay, you can be in war, and a war is never declared because a war is only declared by Congress here in the United States. You could still be literally actively fighting a war. A war is just still an armed conflict between either a nation or other armed groups or armed activities, insurgents, that's still fighting over some sort of strategic, political, demographic, or geographic objective. So understand, the US Congress does not have to just declare war. Nobody has to declare war. Just because the US doesn't want to declare war, it doesn't mean that the US isn't in war.
You brought all this up, and this is what I see. The Democratic Party had a sacrifice. That's the black and brown colored people that's on their base, who they take pride in. The Republicans have their sacrifice. The the working white man, the poor white man, or whatever you want to call it, and that demographic. And you see that they're brewing up tensions between race, and you hear one side talking about civil war. They already put the programming out there with this movie called Civil War. So what
Hmm.
I see, and when you got America, it's one of the most. There's our citizens, the citizens here in America, are the most armed citizens on the face of the earth. So what better way to implement your new world order than to have these groups wipe themselves out so you can come in with your UN troops and establish this new order, this central this central currency that you want to push. This what's that guy called Charles Schwab? What do he say? You will own nothing and be happy.
Hmm.
That's what I see.
Oh yeah.
What better way? I'm not. Don't send no foreign army in there. Just let them wipe themselves out. So we'll go in there in just a nick of time, clean it up, and we'll establish a new government, new power structure. That's what I see.
Mm. I have this article. This is BBC. Kamala Harris yet to speak as Trump wins White House. Woman leader as her Republican rival Donald Trump surged to a decisive victory in the U.S. presidential election. The vice president, yes, is yet to speak, despite it becoming clear by Wednesday morning that Trump had secured wins in several key swing states. Harris canceled her expected election night appearance at Howard University in Washington, D.C., where she was an undergraduate after Trump gained momentum as early results began to trickle in. The Republicans swept the key battleground states, racking up wins in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Wisconsin to claim 279 electoral votes to 223. Several states are yet to be announced. Yeah,
So
so going back to this family, understand a lot of folks, especially a lot of us military veterans in here, whether you're a veteran or a retiree, you understand how the U.S. system works when it comes to prosecuting wars, entering into conflicts, because every conflict comes with money. Money brings that economic drive and stability. It stabilizes markets. It creates economic vitality. Yes, America thrives off of wars. So if you are in a situation where you now have your real fungible resource that is being constrained by Africa, and guess what? You're going to have to fight against
These nations that are now very African friendly, good, bad, and different. I don't care how you see them. Guess what? You can't see them as a colonizer. And that is the most dangerous threat that America is facing right now.
What's the antithesis of neocolonialism, Brother Karras?
Well, neocolonialism is going to be with a colonization to resume the constraints of those resources to where it's not equitable and it's lopsided, that where there's more resources going out than resources coming in.
Oh no, I was where I was going was neo diplomacy is the antithesis of
Oh
neocolonialism.
yeah, neo diplomacy. But again, that's a generations process that America doesn't have time for. That's the strategic empathy versus the strategic narcissism. And again, America's only going to be able to do what America's going to be able to do, which is continue to create and try to negotiate in its strategic narcissism.
Yeah, really, honestly, this country cannot, that's why it's really never good to like be wicked because this is the only disposition they could come from when they're, this is the only disposition they know and they can't, you know, be anything else. You can't make a dog bark. So, you can't make a dog meow. That's
Mhm.
basically what America's in right now. It's like
Uh,
they
hey, family, thank you for for coming on in here. Yeah, YouTube is going to be kicking you all out because my numbers had peaked above 620.
wow.
So that is a backlash of YouTube when you go on these live streams. They
That's why.
will kick you on out. They'll
That's
kick
why.
you on out.
Yeah, I got kicked out.
That's what happens. You're getting all kicked out. Welcome to um, digital neocolonialism. So you all understand how you're getting kicked out. So that's wild because understand that's more than these shows that get or these channels that have like 2 or 300,000 subscribers supposedly.
Wow.
hmm Yeah, you're seeing it in action. It tanked down to 120. Yep,
People getting
that
kicked
is
out of the live?
yeah, yeah. That's AI. Yeah, yeah. That's AI right there.
Yeah, I think I seen Brother Michael. I don't know if he went out on his own, but I just went out on my own. It's like, yeah, it just happens so subtly. It's like, oh, what happened? Did Karis kicked me off or whatever, or what happened? And
No, no, this is
no.
no, this is what no, this is what's happening because when you beat the algorithm, because I'm learning how to beat the algorithm, um, you know, yeah, see, yeah, folks, yeah, they're just coming back in, and now things are pushing back in because folks are getting kicked out. That's what happens. Understand that's what happens. You're
Well,
now
that
in
is
your in a
just
in a digital society.
that is amazing, Carrie. I'm literally I'm shocked on that. Wow.
hmm No,
Wow.
no, they target us. And YouTube knows
Oh,
that they
that's
target
true.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is polling. It has a reach. The reach is tremendous, and they didn't want that to get so being over 620 is a really big deal, especially when you're talking about these places and spaces. And it's not like what I'm saying is just completely bonkers. Nothing is off the wall. Nobody's jumping on tables or doing any type of crazy, emotional antics. They don't like that. So when you actually are holding an analytical conversation with our people that is thought provoking, that creates a dialogue for understanding that a lot of people a lot of our people just do not get in a lot of these other spaces, especially from a biblical Hebrew perspective. No, this is not what they want to see. So you have to understand, that's how we get throttled down in our community. It's not that our community is, crazy, we're unhinged and things. No, no. The last thing that they want is for, honestly, white people to listen to this and then white people start asking questions. Because white people do things. We don't. That's our nature. That's our position in this society. White people have the mechanics to do something. We can't. All we can do is just provide the analytical rationale of what we see coming because we see it coming. Nothing I said is completely bonkers or off the wall or loony. And what makes matters worse is all we're doing is we're looking at the information that they're creating. BBC is not a black-owned publication. That doesn't stand for British Black Company. No, it stands for the British Broadcast Corporation, and of course, they have a tremendous buy-in to the state of what is getting ready to happen to the United States. When we're talking about, well, there's going to be more autonomy by African nations because why? Because there's an alternative to the US dollar that these senators and high ranking government officials just don't want to talk about. Why would you want to talk about a system that's getting ready to destroy you economically? Because once you destroy it economically, guess what? Who cares about wars? You don't have the power to do anything if you're starving. That's what they don't want you to hear. Oh, we're going to go to war and we're going to be great. No, it'll be looking like the Red Army back in the day when Germany invaded. And they had to literally share weapons because they didn't have enough materials. But what do you think is happening right now? Over the last 2.5 years, and now over the last year and change, over that Eastern Mediterranean nation that has been backstopped by U.S. weapons. There's a reason why Raytheon, General Dynamics, Northrop Grumman, and other defense contractors, yeah, you making some money in your stocks. You're making some money in those defense portfolios. So why would they allow anything less? They wouldn't. Because what they're fearful of is that we can come to these strategic conclusions and analysis really way before them. And not just come to it, we can literally articulate and have a little bit of I would say, 80% relative accuracy. We're not going to know the whole plan, but we
More than
That's
that,
know,
what
though.
scares them.
Right.
yeah,
That's what
That I was
scares them.
about to say. More that knowing that our knowledge, that truth that you spread means that for them it equates to non-cooperation. Because
hmm
when we're aware of the devices, when we're aware of the mechanisms and what they're going to do, and you do this, for them it equates to non-cooperation, someone they cannot count on, which means someone that they can count against.
yeah,
It
Hmm.
and
almost
and and,
your
and
spread of
honestly,
knowledge almost makes people an enemy. Just knowing puts a resistance. If now I know what's happening, if I know the truth, I automatically resist the lie. And now they've got an adversary. You're
That's
creating adversaries.
that's the
Sorry.
art of
well,
war. Create thinkers. They don't want thinkers.
and here's the thing. Maybe that is a tactic. Maybe they want to have people think, right? Maybe they want to have people try to sit back and provide some sort of analytical conclusion. And it's the conclusion that this is the art of war. It's actually the art of information warfare. You're thinking that you're going against something, but all you've been doing is being programmed to fall within the actual framework of how that's reacting. That's the okey doke. I don't know how the
That's
polls have
predictive
gotten so,
programming.
and that
Go
is
ahead, sorry.
predictive. Yes, yeah. I don't know how Trump won this. It's not possible. It has to be foul play. Even Kamala's not doing it or doing things. She's even holding on because something's going on. You're gonna now start to see political unrest starts with an emotional unsettling event. When people become emotionally unsettled, here is the greatest thing about psychological programming amongst the masses. You give them an unsettling event, and then you can have a control mechanism.
They did a Twilight Zone about that, didn't they? The aliens sticking up and they turn off lights here and turn off lights here, make one group go against another. The subtlety of just creating internal strife and question. Man,
I'm saying, I'm saying, listen, we truly don't understand the tactics, but we start to get it. I don't need to understand all of the full moves of how they get to what they're going to get to. I don't need to have that playbook. I don't. But we can truly see how this is then coming about. Okay, we got to make one last push. We got to make one last thrust. If that happens, that's great. If it doesn't happen, then we're going to have this decision point and X, Y, and Z, and this is what this decision tree is going to look like.
But they
This
don't
is
have
what
any more plays in their playbook.
now they have quite a few. They have quite a few, but
I
yeah,
mean,
they're
what?
the
just
play
not
that's
playable.
yeah, but the playbook that they're going to unveil for you is a playbook that you wouldn't even see coming. It would be so beyond you, like, dang, for
The
real?
Statue of
Yeah.
Liberty or the Fumblerooski.
Hmm.
I'm sorry,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
they
And,
don't.
and despite
I keep hearing them say he's too dangerous. I mean, they said that in front of crowds. They believe that, and I don't know that they're saying that out of ignorance. You know,
mm-mm.
the feds are looking into Trump. You know, when someone tries to off a person of this stature, investigations are conducted. People are spoken to. And I don't remember seeing a medical report, an in depth report of the background of the guy that took any kind of POC or whatever shot they may have taken. I haven't seen any of that. They just closed the door on it and then pumped this narrative, this guy being a danger. And now the silence from the White House when it just, I'm looking at the numbers and it shows the guy, beat her. And they're not conceding. You see, there are other votes to be counted. These people can be plotting some nefarious nonsense that could just
Well,
set the world on fire, man.
yeah, this is an unhinging event because now think about this. Here's the thing. They have to have a an emotional blanket, right? There has to be some sort of an emotional blanket. We don't necessarily have to have an emotional blanket. We've never had to have that in our dealings here for our ancestors here in the United States. We didn't have to have that. Martin Luther King, okay, well, it is what it is. We kind of understood that. Trying to keep it moving. But they had made concessions because why? Because it was easily manipulated to where, oh, well, we're going to give you these voting rights. We're going to give you, this and that. But now we're just going to diminish it because now everybody's a people of color. No, your jobs were those black jobs, quote unquote black jobs. And now we don't even get black jobs anymore. It's now people of color. So now anybody can come on in because again, 5/6 of the world's population is melanated. So what does that truly mean for people of color? It simply means not for us. We have literally been destroyed by inclusivity. But people don't understand that because that was the game. Oh, you're a person of color. It doesn't matter. We all celebrate our differences. And then now, well, we can all just discriminate against you because this isn't for you.
They
I'm not talking
hijacked the
about that
movement.
person of color. I'm talking about this person of color that's from South Asia somewhere or South America somewhere. And I'm sorry, I think our people started to realize that and get that. And guess what? Those games are no longer being played over in Africa. They turned their back on the United States. So what are you going to do? Well, of course they can't go into Africa. That's too obvious. They're going to have to go after BRICS. They've already said that. Who do you go after in BRICS? Well,
So
Russia
you
and
like,
China.
are you saying like black jobs versus colored, people of color jobs? Are you saying like we might well get ready to make bricks without straw?
Basically. And that's what we're doing. Because for the most part, IT has taken a hit, and that had a lot of our people in there. A lot of the professional jobs that we had, a lot of our people have had degrees, have had certifications, have had licenses, and and now they're quote unquote no longer employable. The jobs are just not there. But then you see all the other drop downs and screens. Oh, you're H-1B. Oh, you need sponsorship. Okay, perfect. We'll talk to you.
Are you saying, in
And
other
this
words, like on Pastor Kelly's intro, where that rabbi said black people are excluded from the world to come? Is that what you saying? In other words, encoded, that we're excluded from the plans they have or their agenda they already got coming forth? We excluded from that plan.
absolutely. Because now think about this. There is now going to be a real resource constraint that's getting ready to happen. The last ace in their hole on on the African continent has always been us. We just didn't know how we were always played against the continent. Nobody knew that. Well, they tell us this about you all, and they tell us that about you all. Well, they tell us this and they tell us that. Because why? Because nobody communicated. Communication on the continent was not a currency to us. But the craziest thing is that was actually the most major currency that we could have ever possessed. And we never developed it until now, until recently. Do you think that they would be making these moves over to BRICS if they probably haven't had a some sort of discussion with us, an interaction with us, seeing us say things, hearing us say things? And then what we would say, guess what? They're going to analyze. Is this matter the truth? And over the course of these couple of years, especially in this awakening, now folks have started to understand some things. I said this last year and a couple of years ago when, Yakoba was showing Putin with the iconography. Shout out to Sister Gates Holder. Iconography is idolatry worship. But at least on the scale of what the Russians were showing, wait a second, how are the patriarchs? How are the Israelites of the Bible? How are they depicted as black? How do they have afros? How is their skin that shade of brown and a little bit darker? How
You could
come they're
even
not
see the
green
waves
or
in some of the
olive?
hieroglyphics. You could even see the waves in some of the hieroglyphics, brother
And you
Kev.
have the hieroglyphics and they had, yeah, waves. And they got really mad because back in 2020, I believe, or 2021, El-Sisi of Egypt, he's the president of Egypt, he opened up a newly discovered tomb or sarcophagus. And he opened it up in a manner that, guess what? Every news outlet there in Egypt could see it being open before it got, quote unquote, touched up. And it was black, dark, brown, red, especially when that tomb was showing the disposition of us in that time frame of where we would be at during that time in that Mitzrayim captivity. There was a distinction between the cultural where we would have something different. We would have something that would be compatible to what the scriptures were saying. They knew the laws, they knew of how things had operated, especially under Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Israel. And guess what happened? They knew who they were. They knew that how their people were. So they were able to keep their culture. They knew they were Israelites. They knew they were Hebrews. They kept their Hebrew culture, even amongst the people that were as melanated as them. And now we're seeing ourselves in prophecy that the Eurocentric church would never show you because it's not the religion of the Bible, it's the religion of Rome. So why would Rome want to show you who you are? Especially when this is a derivative of Rome.
I see Second Ezra 16 in play, where it says, verse 40, it says, "Oh, my people, hear my words. Make thou ready to the battle. And even in those days, be as pilgrims on the earth." You know, and then it says on into that chapter, we was going to be kicked out of our houses. And our possessions will be taken. And then it said, then you'll know who are my chosen once they take our possessions as well. So that, but everything you saying, brother Cass, I just see it in the scriptures. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
And what
yeah.
I meant by we gonna be making bricks without straw, meaning it ain't gonna be no work for us, no jobs for us. That's what I was saying.
Well, again, folks are getting fired. What do you think? A lot of these, when I saw the people, the Pepsi layoff the other day, I was watching, I think Orlando Minor, his channel, and the people that were being interviewed were two black men and an Hispanic man. So understand these positions, a lot of our people have held, and we've held for decades. We've worked in warehouses, we've worked in factories, we've worked doing operations, we've worked doing manufacturing, distribution. I've had a job at UPS, service delivery, logistics delivery, because we tend to get things done. We know how to get things done. We know how to move. We know how to work. We know how to problem solve to do what? To keep the production running, to keep the main belt running.
Well, AI is the fifth uh, revolution or whatever, the industrial, whatever they call it, industrial revolution is AI now. So they no longer need the Negro intelligence, because look what we done from slavery. We made them rich
I
through
wouldn't,
cotton.
but I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. AI would just do perfunctory motions of what's been programmed. And for us, you
Right,
can't program us. You want to know why you can't
right.
program us? Because we have too much creativity. We adapt with the environment. We adapt. And what we see in our adaptation, we already move 5, 6, 7 steps ahead as we see things. This isn't
Got you,
new.
got you. Okay,
This isn't new. It's not like we're here and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm so shocked about what's happened and everything else. Nobody's shocked about this. I pray we're not shocked about this. It's kind of like, we saw this coming. We saw this coming a while ago. All right, it's here. And they're the only ones in shock. Oh man, she's a sore loser. Oh man. Well, why is that? Because everything is a political drama. To do what? To incite the masses over a process of time that's going to create the political unrest, then the civil unrest, and then you have your insurgencies, because civil unrest turns into coordinated efforts against those that are in power, those getting ready to come into power, and then the civil war.
Well, if
This
this
is what's
woman
happening.
is not conceding, and I mean, the great harlot is said to ride the beast. And right now, I mean, Trump is the president elect. He's not president. And right now they have the reins of power. And I don't see a big leap in them being exactly who he has said they have been for 2, 3 years. Why and their reasoning may be he has claimed that we will steal and cheat from him and do what we're going to do. Well, if there's every time we're going to do it, this will be it, and that might be what they're going to do. Greatest
And
threat.
what does
Wow.
that do? What does that do? Then that validates everybody's claims, right? It shouldn't have been this way. This is what that's doing.
Civil war is coming. It's going to come one way or another through either these folks or Trump, because Trump has promised to, what did he say? He's going to deport 10 million people. And I think he's going to get around the Negroes eventually. I think that's his target. He's going to invite us. If you want to go with him, you can leave too, but you have to pay me to go. So it'll be different from them. I'm taking stuff with me. So but it's deep.
Yeah.
Cares is deep. I mean, right now, the 7:05. The current news is she still hasn't conceded, because the
Hmm.
longer she takes to not just say, "Hey, look, I'm looking at," how is it that I don't vote? I've never voted ever. I've been looking at these elections all my whole life. I've never voted, and I can see she's lost soundly. So any person, or I mean, why not get the relief off so you can start to pack and go on with your life? You know what I mean? That's what real people do. You know what I mean? Uh, Obama left. You know, but Bush left. You didn't
Hmm.
need this nonsense. What, are you kidding me? Bye.
Well, well,
You know?
remember, everything's a ramp up, right? So the fear of what Trump had done back in 2020, now the ramp up is, well, it's going to be worse now in 2024, right? Because it's one step closer to this progression. You had a political, then you had a civil unrest, which was still a political unrest, but it never kicked off into quite the insurgency per se. This insurgency has kind of been building up because why? Because everybody and their mama over the last 4 years after January 6th bought some sort of a weapon. So everyone's weaponized. No, also let's keep this in mind. Think about all the carry states that had been enacted, the carry laws, especially in areas where stand your ground. Think about what these folks, they're going to have their bumper stickers on. How could you do that? There's going to be confrontations. When this person confronted me about my Trump sticker, about my, Harris sticker, who knows?
Those aren't
I was
usually
in fear
stickers,
of my
brother
life.
Harris.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Those aren't usually stickers. Those are flags. Trust me. Here
Yeah.
in Jersey, I'm seeing all of them in the most obnoxious big pickup, whatever machismo, whatever you could, the Ford, Chevrolet, whatever, typical cliche thing they're driving, and literally the biggest flag you could hoist on that thing. It's never a sticker, really. Especially here in Jersey. They never have stickers. It's flags. It's like
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I was born and raised in New Jersey, man. And if you see a flag, that's you. You're looking at a racist, in my opinion. The new racist indication is a flag flying from your Ford pickup. Dear
exactly,
God.
brother Doug. Exactly.
but but that's now been the programming, right? The programming is, if you are on that Harris side that's now trying to figure out what has happened, because think about this, man, they got fed a whole bunch of craziness. Oh, this is the end of democracy. Oh,
Yeah.
this is that. We got to save democracy. We got to save this. We got to save that. Well, now, even Canadian proper, I mean, shout out to
Our
our
Maple Leafs
Israelite brother
brother.
Brother
north of the
Nate,
border.
Brother Nate is something, boy. He is on it, doggone it.
He may not know who he is, but boy, oh boy, he's been turning to some scriptures lately.
Hey, folks, I don't really believe in this stuff, but it could be correct.
I'm-
Nate is something, man. Oh, man.
oh my
He's a good
goodness.
reporter, though. He's a very good reporter.
Oh no, he gets his information,
No,
and
he is good.
that's great. That's great. But again, he's up in Canada, and even Canada is kind of like, how do we, how do we manage this? Remember, everybody was trashing this incumbent. Now this is not incumbent, but now the newly, elected. That's we're still within that 24-hour window, and on top of that, understand. Now everybody had a case to be made of election interference with Russia, especially in Georgia and other places. They're going to be bringing out all sorts of cell phone video and evidence. Oh, this happened, that happened. You see these ballots, they got torched. We don't know. This play was already beginning weeks ago.
Even her
Obviously.
hesitating, even her hesitating like this. I mean,
Yes.
you're right, man. Even the non-movement is
Hmm.
creating movement. Because if
Yes.
we're talking about this, if you and I and all of us in this show are actually talking about this and contemplating what's happening, you can believe in the minds of those who are more vocal and aggressive in their expression. They're
Yes.
looking at this non-movement and kind of boy, have you ever seen have you ever seen one of these hillbillies get a thought? It's the most dangerous thing you ever seen in your life. You ever just watch one of them get a thought to do danger, to do violence?
So let
It's a
me ask you
mechanism to
this.
behold.
So let me ask
Right.
you this. Let's just say, let's just do these hypotheticals. I love doing these thought exercises for those that have not been on my channel, for those that are new to Covenant Awakens. I love doing these thought exercises. What would be the biggest catalyst of an actual, no kidding, civil uprising, civil war? And to me, my thought process would be that there is a prevention of Trump holding office.
Well, I think they're going to have to bring. I'm going to give it to you straight. It's my opinion that with this pause, because again, anybody with grain of sense sees she lost. With this pause, they're collecting whatever they're going to present to the, and so the biggest catalyst is that the evidence against him will be so overwhelming that it will cause a mental fracture within these Edomites, and they just lose their minds. Because with empirical evidence, with you get a photo of him doing something wild, it is him. He's hiding. That's
And
how
and and
bad it
and and
is.
and and Doug, and guess what? It doesn't even
Good.
matter. Because on their side, they'll say that's manufactured
Yeah,
AI
AI
stuff. It
doctored.
doesn't even matter.
Oh my
It doesn't
God.
matter.
So you're saying, okay, well, just the act of bringing evidence out against him.
It doesn't
How about
Yeah,
matter.
that? How about just telegraphing that you're not going to leave? How about telegraphing? Guess what? He's too dangerous to give power to, and we're not giving
It
it to him. How about
it
that?
doesn't even it doesn't even matter. It does
Wow.
not even matter.
Wow. Wow, man. This is going to be hairy. She
it's
needs to
like
just concede.
it's like the Linkin Park song. It
I'm
just
telling
doesn't
you,
even
Doug,
matter.
Just
you're in the same
concede.
you're in the same thought process that I am. You know, I'm
And
telling
get
you.
out of what is she doing at that college? Why does she got to be there? She's still itching at the bear. I don't
Because
get that.
it's the emotional symbolism to get
Oh,
us
Lord.
involved. They
Exactly.
want to get us involved. That's all that is.
Well, we don't want to be involved. I don't want
It doesn't matter. Still going to be a lot of our people taking the bait on that one.
oh,
You can
man.
tell I don't want to be involved. Look at my name.
Yeah, I don't want to be involved. What's wrong with y'all? This is your thing. That's why I'm telling you, this is your thing. You're not, I mean, I would look Kamala in her
They'll
face and
provide
say,
they'll
huh?
provide some AI, or they'll provide whatever they want to provide. It can be AI generated, whatever. Trump's, you have Trump talking about that he's going to put black folks into slavery, and
Oh,
these
Lord.
abandoned buildings and warehouses are going to be the new plantations that
You
these
just had to go
factories,
there, right?
and
So you're
look,
trying to
it
trigger me
doesn't matter.
early this morning. That's okay.
Listen, they could do they because why? Because that would be the perfect trigger, for a lot of our
Right,
people. For a
right.
lot of our people, that would be the perfect trigger. Oh my
Like,
goodness, did you what? At first we'd be laughing like, is this a joke? But the more that they would then circulate that, it's like, oh, somebody's trying to set things on up. I think, I think that we would, look at the okey doke. But if you are already now emotionally, emotionally on the roller coaster, right? Anything is a trigger point. Anything is a trigger point.
well, I just wanted to be known I'm not cooperating. I'm not cooperating with anything they got going. I don't care what's that. I don't care who you. I mean, and I'm ready to tell the first
Put
one
the
that I
pew pew
see.
in your hand, brother Doug.
Yeah, I'm not
Go
cooperating.
there and
It's not happening. I'm not cooperating. I don't
go
care who
to
you
the
elected
front
president.
lines right there, brother Doug. Go to the trenches that have been.
I'm not trying. I was saying, just keep it away from me. You voted him and you got him. He's yours. Let him tell you what to do all day. Don't look over here. Don't even look at me. That mean it. I would look at this. Don't even look at me. I didn't vote. I don't care about you or what he's done. I'm just passing through. It's like, till y'all hillbillies start shooting at each other, I'm just passing through. I mean that.
No, they won't. They won't have to be shooting at each other. See, you have to understand. This is new warfare. This is new warfare. They've learned a thing or two. the, the mercs on out there learned a thing or two with Ukraine. Oh no, no, nah.
Well, you say my phone might just blow up, huh?
That and drones. Oh no,
Drone?
drones is going to be it. You get their little quadcopter, little drone. Hey, that's going to be it.
Well, I just want to see what happens if she decides to, implement some act, or if they're plotting against the process. It's their process. Let them plot and let them react how they want. Again, right now, I believe they're focused on each other enough that we might be able to slide through the cracks and go unnoticed. If there's a way out of here, I want to be on the first boat. If I see an opening. I'm looking for doors now. That's it. I'm packed. I'm ready. I'm looking for doors, but I don't want to just flop anywhere, and I'm not going under certain conditions. So, so it's escape, evade. It's guerrilla tactics until the way is made.
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know.
No, they said Trump didn't concede. No, he did not concede. Um, and those you had those tactics there. Um, I don't think Kamala's going to concede either. Nobody's saying that. I don't think she's going to concede. That's just my personal opinion. And
Well,
and
the
then
thing
her
That'd be
about
comment.
wild.
When Trump didn't concede, Trump when he just called it. He let you know what the plan was right at the jump. They cheated. We're gonna redo this and redo that. He already told you what it is. What makes Kamala so dangerous without her conceding, we don't know what her plan is. We don't know what angle she gonna take. We went over all the different scenarios she could take, but which one she gonna take? And then how is the right gonna react to this? She just
Mm,
quiet right now. We don't know what she's thinking. That's what makes this so dangerous. What angle are these Democrats gonna go because they're too damn quiet? They was quiet when Trump won Georgia. You didn't hear no more nothing else out of CNN the rest of the night. Nothing.
yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
MSNBC, nothing.
Oh, CNN is
Everybody
still
was
shook.
quiet on the Democratic side. It was scary. It was kind of scary. Now that I'm thinking about it, like,
Hmm.
what is she gonna do?
And they look broken this morning, all of them.
Yeah, yeah. It was a brokenness. It was a. Well, we don't want to concede just yet, right? They didn't want to concede just yet, but they weren't coming with the same amount of flair and theatrics. I mean, I think in 2020, even Fox News kind of had a little bit more. Um, they were at least having a little bit more, um, flair in terms of different things. That's what I noticed. With them, it was well, she wasn't polling well, she wasn't doing this, she wasn't doing that. Her exit polls and this and that, and it's like, well, we already knew that, and most people already. kind of knew that. It wasn't that we were seeing anything that was utterly spectacular or utterly amazing. Nobody, that could not be said. So when you had that, and I mean, listen, it was, you didn't, she did not have a chance to literally be debated, to be scrutinized. Why is that?
I think she would have been a puppet, man. I mean, you're talking about Kamala, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Look,
I
why didn't
think
she get a chance to get
she
scrutinized?
just followed directions, man. She has no real place. Look, let's be real. Did she not run for the presidency? I think she did. She was eliminated early. Now
Hmm.
she's been catapulted to the office of vice president through, you know, a choice. Now the old man's got old. Now she's the presumptive nominee. Now the person on the ballot. But she's never qualified to be president of the United States. Trump's more qualified as just a person with more experience in life. Okay, just managing and losing money, being an idiot, doing things politicians do. But this woman is a crossover mix that painted a black face on to be accommodating to the Democratic population that didn't support her. People don't want to vote for a phony. So if there's no, you'd have to scrutinize and listen to her talk. She could listen. Karis, she couldn't even keep up in a conversation with either of us. We'd talk circles around her. Trump would at least be entertaining, you
Yeah,
know?
that was really disappointing. I'm sorry.
Let's
Trump
just
would
go there.
actually be.
She's not intelligent. Trump has a specific style of speaking that 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 relates to, the Edomite masses. But she want to get on the mic and get on a feigned black drawl with us, really, system. You want to like that in high school, I guarantee it. Your mother told you to stay away from us, and you did. So what the heck are you talking about? So I don't need to scrutinize her. She's unfit. She's never fit to be there. But I think Trump's there. Being there is dangerous. I think
Hmm.
he's bought. I think he's bought, sold. I think, and I do believe now. Just you, Karis. What an amazing show. Because I never would have thought that. Oh, she's not conceding. Oh well, sore loser. But I'd have never thought they're plotting.
Yeah, because
They're
people want to
they're
put two and two together. You know what I'm saying? You got to start putting those two and two together.
wow. That's crazy, man. If they do something, I hope everybody's prepped because they're gonna lose their minds. It's not gonna be
Hmm.
some. I don't know if it's gonna be gradual. Okay, if she says I'm not letting Trump win, there you just peek out your window and watch them go in their cars and trucks and go wherever they're
What?
gonna go to.
Wait, what did they always say? What did they always say? It's the most dangerous from what? When people are quiet.
Oh man,
It's
are
the
you
most
kidding
dangerous
me?
when people are quiet.
Who said they're happy? One of these guys said they're real happy today. You take away that happiness and see what happens to these hillbillies.
Mm.
Wow. I hope not. I hope now. I'm just hoping I hear her say I concede, whatever. You know, I do, man. I do, because now you
You're
got me
living in a
thinking.
dream. You're living in a dream.
You know,
I
whatever.
don't think
Forget
that's how the
him.
script goes. I don't think that's how the script goes, brother Doug. But
I'm packing.
I
Bye.
understand.
Wow. Because why
Yeah,
wouldn't they?
that
I
would
mean,
make that.
especially. Huh?
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Doug.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
I was
Doug.
just going to say, but Biden's 89, 90, 1,000 years old. Okay. And the dude's like, gee, come on, dude. He's been held together by duct tape and super glue. He's ready to go home. He just wants to spend his last few minutes looking at freaking, Alex
Man,
Trebek reruns. You just,
Doug,
I'm sorry.
Doug,
I apologize.
could that be one of those situations? I could not, address.
the American public because, you know, there are health concerns with Biden. I'm just saying.
He keeps asking, "Can we go now?" Those are the health concerns.
Oh my
I'm just saying.
goodness.
I'm just saying. Can we
But then
go?
that's another calculus, right? That is literally another calculus that Biden has to abdicate. That they had to, they had to do an emergency 25th Amendment to install Harris.
And
Remember,
then
this
she's
idea
gonna
was already
do.
floated back in what, July, August. Remember that.
Oh man.
So this isn't
Lord
anything
have
new.
mercy.
I know this dude now. He's really starting to make because like if she makes a move toward the presidency, like if they give this guy a shot in his neck he don't see, and then she comes to the podium saying I'm president, I'm packing everything. I'm looking. What's next? What's next? What
I
are you
got.
gonna do next?
I was happy when I came on this panel, but now you got
I
my
was
brain
too.
turning a thousand miles an hour. When I said we dodged the bullet, no, we ain't dodged no bullet. We got five more
We ain't
point
dodged
left.
nothing.
We're
We
in
ain't
the
dodged
end game, baby. We're in the end game.
nothing.
I got to say I was in a good mood too, and then he gave me this to think about. So wow, thanks, Garrett.
I just try my best to look at everything from all angles. You know,
Man,
I think that
I
that's
was proud to see Esau smiling again. They so happy right now. Now you done put this thought in my brain. Now I'm looking at us, boy, that smile about to come off their faces.
yeah, that wipe that smile off your face. Come on, brother Doug. That's your key. Come on, brother.
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, and that's the reality that we're living through right now. That literally Kamala does not want to, is not conceding. She is not conceding. This is D Day towards political unrest. This is D Day. Then there's going to be other steps towards civil unrest because when she's carrying on, her supporters are going to be carrying on. And there's going to be more and more confrontations. Can someone tell me if the National Guard has demobilized in any of these states? Can someone
Oh,
tell me
wait a
if
minute.
the National Guard has demobilized? No, because
Wait
I
a
think that
minute.
that's going to be the intent.
Carrot, are you saying that that's the reason? So they have. Wait, hold it, man. Because they got barbed wire all over Washington D.C. prepping for the riots. Are you saying the prep for the riot was in case he wins to do what they're gonna do next?
I'm just saying all options on the table.
Oh damn, man! I do have to drink some coffee.
All options on the table. I'm just saying. These are the things.
I'm going to grab me a cigar today. I got to sit back and meditate on all of this and process this
Man,
information. I'm going to have to go to the war briefing room and set.
You join to come in the war briefing
Thanks,
room.
Karis. Thanks a lot.
You join Kalala in the war briefing. How quickly can we mobilize these forces here to Washington D.C.? They probably have like Operation Red Jacket or something.
I,
Operation
I
Reverse
I'm
Red Dawn.
there is no scenario that I'm trying to consider at this moment. Like while we're talking, I can't consider it because you're right. Evidence would just be called contrived AI generated idiocy.
Hmm.
So there is no condition that unless he admitted to something, and even then they would say, well, we elected you or whatever. But so she is going to go so against the grain of the will of the white American public that it more like, and that's what they're prepped for. These folks are prepped for
Mhm.
this civil war. They were ready either way. And their calculus, Garrett, you're probably on something. I mean, if things jump off because she refuses, and if the first thing she does is take power from a dullard, from a toothpick sitting there in the White House, and then suddenly exercise certain, I don't know, certain acts. Do you know how much power the presidency has right now? Due to
Mhm.
Donald Trump and Obama. I don't know if anybody knows, they empowered themselves starting with Bush, increased it with Obama, and then capped it off with Trump. The power of the
Yes.
presidency, he can almost do
How
anything,
many executive, how
orders.
many emergency executive orders are in place right now?
Oh
Over
my
30.
goodness.
Over 30.
Wow.
Hey, we have and what would make matters worse if you had a president that had succumbed to natural causes while in office, especially in a tumultuous time. Come on now.
Man, if she even thinks about doing that, it's gonna get set off. If she even if it, look, you know how people like telegraph they're gonna do something, lean into, if she doesn't move and her eyes dart in the direction of the oval, somebody gonna say something to this chick, man. I'm telling you,
But
I
but
can't imagine.
who would but who would question anything if, hey, due to this extraneous environment, this extraneous situation, again, the setup has just been too perfect for me. I
Oh
see the
man,
setup. It's
come
been
on.
too perfect. You already had a president who was already had health issues. He already said it. That's why he couldn't run. You already had people that had spoken about the 25th Amendment back in what, July, August time frame. This was already talked. Nothing that I'm saying is far fetched because it had already been discussed by then. This had already been discussed by then. Nothing's far fetched what I'm saying. So now the pieces conveniently, quote unquote, fall into place. Oh, and by the way, I have to challenge these election results because we've had X, Y, and Z, and we had a bomb scare that happened in
So
Atlanta.
you're saying in a 1-2 punch, and because I was just thinking that she would have to do this all at once, bro. She couldn't let the dust settle of her taking power from a dullard, and then wait a couple of weeks and say, hey, you know what? We're also going to be doing this. No, she's got to be 1-2. She's got to look. I'm sorry, the guy, proof of life that has to be established that there is there's detriment there, that there is incapacity. So
Here,
they're gonna have to
here's
make that happen to this dude.
here's here
Okay.
here's and here's another big one.
Oh
She
man.
could also exert the office of the presidency to say, listen, he needs to be sentenced.
Oh man, that's
Oh
the one
man. I've
that I
got to
think
do.
that
Hold up.
the thing is immediate. I mean, what am I gonna say? Civil unrest. That's immediate civil unrest if she finds a way to sentence him and gets in power all at the same time.
Imagine that you
Well,
have a president elect. How humiliating would that be? Imagine you have a president elect being sentenced and then immediately getting thrown into jail. Can we literally say third world nation status? Everybody would be running for the exits.
I was
so
about
we
to
just
say
one word away from being thrown back in the 1960s.
basically.
Church bombings, riots. Woo, man, I'm not scared, but this is a scary. We this worse than Nightmare on Elm Street, bro.
I'm thinking, yeah, what Black Beauty is saying, yeah, Trump will be sentenced and never take office. I'm thinking that. That is seriously a course of action there. No,
Look, look, man.
yeah,
You
Miss Tassos was saying earlier, like, no, nothing can stop Trump from taking office. Nothing stop Biden. Yeah, there are still a series of factors that could literally stop Trump from taking office. Nothing is certain. I'm just trying to explain that to you. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to have you on this thought exercise because understanding how these scenarios could potentially play on out. And there are stronger scenarios that may be playing on out because why? Because we're seeing that happening right now. No type of speech, no type of something. To do what? To calm people down? You got to calm people's emotions down.
You're exactly
Unless
right.
unless you are gearing them up to militarize their emotions.
That's exactly why she decided not to say anything. It's kind of like she's emboldening the sore losers or giving them a whatever chance of hope, and it's all literally emotions, and it literally is just gonna fester until people, you know, go postal, for a lack of a better term. And when you were saying like how these are how elections are in Africa, absolutely. After just like researching and doing the news about Africa, this is how they fight. Literally, Ruto just kicked out his deputy president, and that caused an uproar and caused protests in that country. So that's literally an everyday thing in Africa.
Yeah, and then the last laugh is on the United States because it's going to be a threat to democracy. We're going to lose democracy. And the same one saying that we're going to lose democracy is the same person that's going to potentially destroy democracy. Be careful of people and their accusations because what they're accusing of may be the same ones doing what they've been doing they've accused others of doing.
Nah, but
Just saying.
she's speaking it into existence though. So that's not on accident. That's literally what sorcery is and how they, you know, play sleight of hand on people.
you do know that. I mean, you do know that Donald Trump has, since he left office, has been in the custody of the United States. And I mean,
Hmm.
and people don't want to really think about that, but he has. He's been in the United States custody. Okay, you have to arrest him. You have to do anything.
Hmm.
But she's a prosecutor, a horrible person. Sorry, but she is. I've read some of her stuff. And if she does what you're suggesting, Karen, if she determines that the dude's just too befuddled to carry on, and she takes the presidency, she could have him arrested. And then man, let me tell you something. She could take the presidency, take him into custody, throw him in jail, and produce whatever contrived evidence and ready herself for a civil war and prepare to fight it off and keep it. I'm keeping it 100. That's exactly what she could do if she wanted to, because every time I think about her saying this man's a threat to democracy, how many other people said he's a threat to democracy on all these channels, and now, saying he's going to take it away, be gone, the Lincoln Project, all these places and platforms. And now he's the president elect, and he's got till the 20th of January. Until then, these people are in control of him. Why don't y'all just, no, they're in control of his life. Are you kidding me?
Mm.
This is what happened to Kennedy, man. They're in control of his circumstances, his life, his comings, his goings. And if they're not conceding as they should really concede, I'm looking at the numbers. She needs to say, I give in. And they plot something like this, they're going to have to go all the way with it, man. They're
Hmm.
going to have to go all the way. It can't be a half measure because if you take a shot at the king, you can't
You
miss.
gotta go. You can't miss. Nope, you can't.
You can't miss. If you
Oh
take a
man.
shot at him, you can't miss. If you miss, you're
Mm.
done. And let me tell you something. The only way she can do it is the way I've said. The
But
only
brother
way.
Doug, didn't they miss twice
Good.
already?
No, 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 no. I ain't talking about no self-inflicted gunshots. You can easily miss those on purpose. Give me a break. This guy, he wanted to ensure there was sympathy enough to carry him over. Little did he know that she would insult black intelligence to the extent that they wouldn't show up for her. So if
Yeah.
you remember, if you remember yesterday, he said, "Listen, if I lose, I'll concede," because he knew he was going to win. He knew he was going
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said that. He said, if
Yeah.
I lose, I'll concede. Never said that before. He knew he was going to win. So if she does this, she's got to do it all at once. You know what? He's got to be in custody. She has to have him in custody with the evidence ready to present it and Biden on a pillow with her sitting in the Oval Office. Dear American people, I
Wow,
have some grave news.
that's a crazy optic right there, brother Doug.
I'm telling you what shit has to happen. In order for this to happen, she's got to do it that way, or if there's a lull in the action, if there's enough time for people to react, she'll have a bloodbath. She'll have exactly what they. But if she says, "Okay, take him into custody. I'm taking over. Give me the evidence," he's not going into office. And now, dear American people, how you doing? I'm your president now. Get over it. Sorry, Karis. I'll shut up.
No. No. That's great. That's great insight. I mean, this is what we're looking at. Do people think that this is plausible? It certainly is. Everything is plausible. You literally have an active war that people have been affected very badly by here in the United States because giving billions of dollars to Ukraine and that Eastern Mediterranean nation is what caused this economic downturn on top of, BRICS, on top of, you know, utilizing sanctions. They utilize the US dollar to hurt people, to hurt countries. And this was the backlash. What people don't understand is most people don't understand. I'm not gonna overgeneralize this, but most people really don't understand BRICS. Most people really don't understand why do countries want to join BRICS, and it's a simple calculus. People no longer want to be able to be controlled via a US dollar that can be weaponized against them. And that's why countries have, especially African nations, have looked at BRICS in a very positive manner. And if we don't understand that, then there has to be a baseline on this context of why they're going to go to extremes. You don't go to extremes just because, everything is fine, everything is great. You go to extremes because you're not going to have a solution to this economy. That's how that goes. And the only solution that is going to be available is a solution to where you still have to strike out against other nations. You're going to have to fight. There's going to be a war. That's just how that goes. There has to be funding. That's just how it goes. They're throwing in their hat. They were already going to have to throw in their hat. That was what happened 3 weeks ago, or excuse me, now 2 weeks ago in Kazan with the BRICS payment system, with Mbridge. But in doing so, when you're having to fight another war, you have to actually control the population. So you have to have population control mechanisms. How come we just can't make peace with these other countries? Because peace will make this nation even poorer. And I've never seen a Caucasian that's willing to be poor. I've never seen one. I'm not trying to
Not by
generalize, but
choice.
I'm just saying I've never seen exactly, not by choice.
Not by choice.
If they could choose to fight, they're gonna fight tooth and nail, not to be economically destroyed. Call it what you want to call it. You can call it harsh. Just please don't call it a lie. So yes, now we're coming together so we can discuss these scenarios. If she's going to discuss at 1 p.m., okay, that's fine. But
I mean, if she
again,
concedes, though, what? What if she concedes? Do you still suspect her?
I'm gonna see what it's gonna say. Because right now, let me go back to what CNN is having. Let me see if I can share. I'll share this again because I shared this earlier. I'll share this again. Um, it's still 223 to 276. And I mean, technically speaking, I think Wisconsin was 19, Pennsylvania was 19, and Georgia was 16. And then I think you had Nevada, I think was like at 11, and Arizona was around there. So, technically speaking, if these states that have, not really finalized their votes, if something were to flip, if ballots were to be found, then it could still have an impact. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. It's going to be very interesting to see what's going to be said, especially in these this last 24 hours that's transpired. I'm just going to say, listen, we've discussed possible avenues. I wanted to get people kind of thinking, and have these thought exercises going.
Yeah, you got me chain smoking my elf bar.
But at least we discussed it.
Well, let's clear this. I mean, the election, the fact that this guy is popular is so clear that the world is in power of wickedness, just because there is a trove of evidence accessible to the American public in general that puts this guy as a cretin, just a creep, just in every respect, the lowest form of his species. And that blonde hair, those blue eyes, it just seemed to work miracles in the faces and the minds of these other folks who are like minded. And I don't know,
Well,
bro. It's the lost.
well,
Is I mean, wow.
Doug. Here's also another key factor, right? Trump was also saying that he was going to impose 100% tariffs. 100% tariffs to try to get people to come back to the dollar and avoid BRICS. Is that going to work for
No,
or against the American economy?
it's gonna where they're gonna run from the American dollar into the hands of the BRICS economy, the strengthening BRICS economy. I've
Bingo.
been following BRICS. I understand BRICS, and it's a serious threat. It's more than a
Hmm.
threat. Let me just say this, and you know this, Karis, because you're. I was in the military. You was in the military. Intelligence is a hell of a thing. Excuse my language. Intelligence is just a fancy word for information, right?
Hmm.
And now information is accessible. It's everywhere. And you can look at different reports that show the moves being made against this country to determine the doors are going to get closed from the outside. That's what I'm talking about. They're going to be compartmentalized. First thing they're going to ask is, what are they good for? Nothing. Nothing. And they're slowly sealing the Americans off into their own little microcosm. And
Yeah.
God knows what they have planned. God knows what they have planned for these people. They're dumb. They elected this man to office. They're dumb. That, in my opinion, that shows the rest of the world how gone the American public is. Because on the surface, Kamala looks like she's decent. I mean, on the surface, but Trump is an open scab. I mean, just a sore, just pustulating buttwort on the ass of society. And they voted him. There, he's popular. So I think this place is finished.
Well, thank you, Brother Doug, for your extremely extreme, to say the least, scintillating words. Listen,
Sorry, man.
at least, I mean, you're going to have the markets react. The markets are already open. They're going to react. Um, but you are absolutely right. The dollar is going to be recirculated because people are going to run from the dollars. And when people run from the dollars, everything will collapse. Yeah, I believe Trump will try to join BRICS, but why? Why would and the question is, why would BRICS why would they do that? BRICS is about multipolarity. BRICS is about um, control, sovereign control of a country's resources. That doesn't, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to swallow, but whenever you do have a military just enacts diplomatic measures. And the diplomatic measures comes from financial interactions. That's all that is. That's literally policy. So why would people that are trying to get out of the thumb of the West want to have the US involved? That's not going to happen. The US knows it's not going to happen. Trump knows it's not going to happen. That's why, look, he had even said, I'm going to impose all these sanctions and they're going to be coming back to the United States for what? What natural resource does the United States really have? The beginning of of the supply chain process is with the resources, and most of those resources are found in Africa. So it's going to take more to get things from Africa over to here than what resource do you truly have? That's not going to work on the supply chain. So now you're going to try to dig into a depressed state, a depressed economy where the dollars are not what it used to be because folks are trying to still get money, the dollars on out because the dollars are going to be coming in. because folks are going to be trading their dollars for something that's gold backed. And Rich has also stated they're not going to have the U.S. in. They stated it. That was at the Kazan summit. They stated they're not going to have the United States. BRICS was literally made to counter the United States. So I know people will live in their dreams, and that's okay. Here in the United States, you can do whatever you want to do. It's a free country, so they say. But the reality of things outside the United States is much different. So now here we are. This is a major turning point. It's a major inflection point. Yeah, nobody's buying the American dream. That's why businesses are closing. People are asking the United States, why are you supporting, these actions across the world? So all I can just do is show you what these other nations have been saying. I've done that on this channel. I give you the resources, I give you the articles. Oh, this must be we got a Kamala supporter up in here. The unhingement has begun. That's okay.
What are they saying, Harris? I can't see the screen. I'm not looking. What are they?
Some nonsense. They're
Oh,
spitting some nonsense.
well,
But that's okay. Listen. Come on in here, learn a thing or two. You can be FBA, you can be ADOS, you can be whatever you want to be. But guess what? Most of your products come from the continent. And that has been the issue with the supply chain. That's why you had literally Matt Gates and Eric Prince, the Z person, or who was the one mercenary group. Yeah, Triple Canopy now or whatever. They had even openly stated they got to recolonize Africa. Why is that? You don't have to be Pan Africanist to understand that most of our resources come from Africa in the supply chain. Understand the supply chain. Resources come from the continent. They get turned into a finished product, usually in China, and then they get sold to the United States. It's a supply chain issue, it's a supply chain effort. And now countries in Africa are now saying, we want to control our resources, which means they're going to dictate the cost, which means things are going to become more expensive. And guess who's going to get the cost carried over to? The United States. Because as a manufacturer, as a distributor, you're not going to carry the cost. You send the cost over to the consumer. That's business 101. So you can get mad, you can call whatever, but at least try to have why am I whack by giving you the information. Why are you not calling Matt Gates and Eric Prince whack? Because they're the ones that want to recolonize Africa. I'm just saying. I know a lot of folks are on edge right now. I get it. So everybody's in the same boat. Whether you're FBA, whether you're Tether, supposedly, all the claims, whether you're Hispanic, Latino, black, white, everybody's in the same boat. You can only have the stock market cook up so much from BlackRock, Blackstone until there's not a tangible supporting. All I'm trying to show you is just the mechanisms. And I'm just trying to do it in a pretty neutral manner. That's it. It's just the mechanisms. I'm not saying who's right. I'm not saying who's wrong. I'm just trying to be really the most unbiased on out here, just to give you things to think about because this is the reality that we're living in. I'm giving you this. This is from CNN live feed right now from what they're reporting. You can get mad at that. You can get mad at reality. So don't change reality. And that's a lot of what our people go through. Because this is the emotionalization that leads to the weaponization. That's it. If you can't even realize that you're being emotionalized to be weaponized, then I'm sorry. That's between you and the Most High. That's a conversation that you're going to have to take to him.
So they just to give you, I'm looking, trolling through all the different reports, and the Democrats are losing their minds. We're screwed. We screwed up. But Fox News has something very interesting, claiming that the Trump campaign has mysteriously not heard from the Biden-Harris White House, and they're putting in a concern frame. So this, I
Oh
hope,
boy.
man, oh man.
Oh boy.
I mean, I stay on this stuff, man.
Man.
And they're all saying they screwed up big time. They want the dictator Trump, all this. And now Fox is reporting Trump has not heard from the Biden Harris White House yet.
Oh boy. Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. So I have be praised said the pundit stated she lost in swing states because the urban vote didn't come out and support her. Urban votes is code word for black people. Yeah, absolutely. Oh wow, the trolls are coming in big time. Okay, come on, trolls. I'm butthurt for what? Just stating facts. You must be new to this channel. Been there, done that. We heard that for the past couple of years. You must be new to this channel.
The rest of the world is reporting that we have elected a far right fascist.
Mm. So understand when you are a consumerist nation, you are literally subjected to that supply chain resource. You've had a dramatic weakening of the American military over the last 2.5 years. And it started way before that. You want to know when that weakening literally took place? It took place in front of our eyes August 15th, 2021. My channel was up and running. I have a video on out there. Feel free to check it on out. I voted for Yahuwah. Exactly, Kaya. That's who I voted for. And guess what? He's won the vote already.
Yeah, he's won, but he's not in there yet. That's the thing, man.
Mhm.
This is everybody's thinking that it's like cut and dry, and that they haven't promised a smooth transition of power. They haven't promised that, and
None of that. That's what and all we're trying to do is just let you all know that nothing even remotely has been done in terms of, political stability. And now you're looking at political instability because now you have existential forces saying that, well, is this even a legitimate election? And guess what? That can be fuel for the fire. A lot of countries are not accepting what is happening in the United States and are going to be asking questions. This is everything that they are now dealing with. We're just trying to give you this real time. If you want to feel that I'm butthurt over that, okay, that's your feelings. That's the same feelings that they manipulated most of our black people, most of our people with, and they surely manipulated their folks with. Oh, my bad. You must be a Cardi B fan or a Sexy Red fan. I get it.
that's wrong.
I
That's
get it.
wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
We got a beehive person on in there. He's still sore from Beyonce not performing at the rally. Hey,
Well, let's see what happens next, Karis. You might be on to something. They're a little bit worried. Why aren't they here? And it's a long way between now and
well,
November and January 20th. It's a
well,
long
well,
way,
that's,
man.
well, brother Doug. In the words of my Canadian Israelite brother up there north of the border, that has to see the shizzy hit the fizzy. You need to get your preps. You need to get your preps in, folks.
Nate is a little bit of an alarmist, but I don't know. Is he Hebrew? Is his father a Negro, or I don't know?
I think he's definitely black. He's black.
He's black.
He won't
He's
say,
he's
yeah, he won't say, yeah, he's black.
he's committed. He's committed
Mhm.
to the cause, and he reports well. He reports well.
It's yeah, I mean, like folks are getting mad like we had something to do with it. I had nothing to do with nothing. I just sat here, popped my popcorn, and we just watched the results roll on in last night. And this morning, I'm just telling you all the craziness that's going on as we speak.
Well, like I said, he's in custody. He's always been in custody, and Kamala can do as she wants if she decides to take the throne.
Mm.
No telling. I got to get out of here, Harris. Harris, you have a wonderful day.
All
I am.
right, but
I've got to get prepared for the
it's
day.
been
You are
fun.
awesome, sir.
It's
Yes,
been fun. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on up in here. We had a great conversation. Yeah, thank you
thank you.
again, Brother Doug. You are always warmly welcomed.
Thank you very much.
Hallelujah.
Thank you so much. You have a
Hallelujah.
wonderful morning. I'm getting out of here.
All right. All
All
right.
right, sir.
Shalom. So, so for those that don't know about this channel, they found the 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 AI markers for the suggestions and things of that nature. Okay, I'll be off. I'll be sure to listen in to Sister E. Hallelujah. So she'll be on in 20 minutes. I'll be sure to listen on in. Um, we're just we're just seeing prophecy play out. You can be hurt by what I'm saying that goes in accordance with Obadiah, Joel chapter 3, Jeremiah 15:51, 2nd Ezra 15, Zephaniah chapter 3, Habakkuk chapter 2. I'll give you scriptural reference, and you want to know what? You want to get mad? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you what scriptures are saying. It's just interesting that when people see how scriptures are lining up, then they get mad. And when our people have had the same heathenistic Babylonian mindset, right? Shout out to Brother Ron over at Truth Unedited. You have a lot of our people that have adopted the mindset of Babylon. So, yeah, no, they are emotionally interested, invested in this place. When the Most High clearly said what he was going to do to this place. That's not me, that's scripture. You get mad at me. My name is Brother Karras. Karras Copeland. You can find me. And I'm going to tell you what the word said because I stand 10 toes down on the word. Exactly, Don all its vanity. Why get mad when the Most High said it? I would invite you to read your scriptures, read the Bible, and pray about it. Because I look at it like this. I look at that this is the greatest opportunity for our people to wake up. This is the greatest opportunity for our people to be able to read the Bible, read the word, and ask the Most High, Father, show me what I'm missing. I'm missing something. This is the greatest opportunity for our people to awaken because when they see a lie exposed, they have to confront it. You get mad at me or you get mad at what's happening? That's between you and the Most High. What can I say? I'm saying I'm praying for you. Hallelujah. I pray that you take the time today and spend at least 10 minutes just asking the Most High to allow for you to see what's happening. Take 10 minutes and pray about it. You came on to a Hebrew channel, you came on to an Israelite channel, and I'm going to tell you pray and ask the Most High to give you understanding. I'm not here giving a call to repentance. I'm not here giving a Romanology of come to Jesus. Because how can you come to the Most High if you don't first ask the Most High to give you understanding? That's Romanology to get you emotionally hyped up so then you can accept the image of Cesar Borgia. Now we're a little different because you come to the Father first in what? In spirit and truth. And it's under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach who intercesses for us to be able to be led and guided in all truths. I know it's a weird dynamic, especially when you've grown up in the Black church, in the church in general. Asked to come out of the delusion first. Okay, Father, now please lead me and guide me into all truths. I know it's hard for our people. That's why we have to pray for our people. And I'm not here to condemn our people. Oh, you should know that. You should. And the reality is, a lot of our people don't know this. A lot of our people do not know this. But again, for these last, what, 3.5 months, it was literally seeing an exercise in how the mind manipulation games work. Because we were literally seeing this real time, day in and day out. These YouTube videos were literally providing chronological record of what was happening in real time in these last 100+ days. Nobody had to predict things. Nobody had to have this awesome revelation. It's the scripture. Because when you rightfully discern the word, because the Most High gives you that understanding that you can actually look through the lies, and guess what? Then that's how he leads you and guides you into all truths, not some truths, not half truths. Having a spirit of discernment is going to be life and death, especially right now. And if you don't know who our Heavenly Father is, if you don't know who Yahuwah is, if you don't have a relationship with His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, then I invite you right now to take that time today and get that figured out. And the awesome thing is, you can figure it out on your own. The awesome thing is you can come to him and just talk to him. He answers his people. If you need help with that, I can send you in the right direction for plenty of resources. Because you have Pastor Rick Fletcher on out here. Shout out to Pastor Rick Fletcher and other amazing ministries. Now we're starting to see the harvest come through. And again, I don't get offended when folks say what they need to say, what they want to say, because people are hurt. I know how our people respond in being hurt. And I've had it with my own family members. Lie on you, do everything, throw your name under the mud, all that. Hallelujah. It's not for my glory, it's for his glory. All I ask the Most High is for, please give me guidance when I'm dealing with your people. Because the way I interact with you all, it matters. The way I talk to you all, it matters. The way I interact with everyone, it matters. Because I get judged. When I go into my feelings. Oh, yes, I have. And yes, I do. Y'all can't even imagine the spiritual whippings and the beatdowns I've received, the spiritual lashes I've received over the years. And it wasn't to destroy me, but it was to correct me because correction is love. To love someone, you have to be able to correct someone. I love my children. So guess what I do? I correct them. Because as a parent, I want the best for my children. And if I see something that my children need to fix as a character flaw, I have to be able to correct. That correction is going to be painful because they're going to have to learn how to think and act and move in a different way. And guess what? He does the same with us. Let me break this thing down real quick. Let me get to this real quick. Being able to communicate with our people is not a negative effort. Matter of fact, it's a positive effort because it's been awesome to see over the last 5 years how our community has grown and how impactful we are worldwide. Do not let the numbers lie to you. Do not let the numbers kid you. Just like earlier when they throttled down the numbers. Because You get to a threshold and AI throttles you down. YouTube throttles you down. And amazingly, with those folks that have those type of feelings, hey, I leave up that StreamYard link, and I had that StreamYard link up until about 9:30. I take it down usually an hour before I close on out. And I have to get errands run. We have to be able to see through this gross darkness as a people. Just because they don't want to acknowledge, they will never acknowledge how truly powerful your voice is to the rest of the world. They will never acknowledge that to you. They will never do it. And when you understand how impactful and forceful your voice is to the rest of the world, guess what they're going to do? They're going to try and do everything that they can to stop your voice. They're going to use whoever they're going to use to stop you from saying what you're going to say. Welcome to captivity. But at each and every rung, when prophecy becomes fulfilled, then guess what? Well, there it is in the Bible. There it is in scripture. Oh man, look how this is aligning. And we have been able and been privileged to witness this because I look at it like this. We're seeing this for our generations that come after this. We're witnessing this for our generations that come after this. Because I wholeheartedly believe in every single word that that scripture has to say, especially about how we get out of our captivity, because that's happening now. We had to reach different phase gates. We had to reach different time frames. We had to reach different milestones. So yeah, thank you, family, for you all supporting this live stream. It's going to be very interesting over these next couple of days. I know Sister E will be coming on in a few. I'm going to jump on over and listen in on that one. Um, if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so through PayPal or Zelle at kerosene at msn.com. It is always my pleasure to provide insight that the Most High has allowed me to understand. This wasn't just a one night process. No, he had me in different places and spaces that I was able to get a complete and thorough understanding. Some things I can't really break down. It's going to take me more than a few hours. Some concepts I can kind of break it down in a little bit. But I just pray that this has been a blessing to you all because you're seeing things and you're not necessarily going crazy. Because there are other folks waking up this morning that are trying to figure out what life is going to look like. And when you don't have a standard or you don't have a guide because it wasn't given to you, then that's going to be very scary for a lot of folks. And the word literally tells us to fear not. So I pray that this is an opportunity right now for our brothers and sisters to wake up and turn their hearts back to our Heavenly Father. His name is Yahuwah. And we are covered under the blood of his also mighty Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, who allows for us to have salvation, who has allowed for us to be brought back into the Most High's favor. Because without him, what are we? So, family, that's all I have right now. Most High willing, I will be back tomorrow. We'll discuss what's happened over these last 24 hours. And with that said, family, shalom, salamas, yemi, shalom, peace, and blessings. Yasharel.
Are you ready to elevate your leadership and communication skills to a global level? Join Karis Copeland and Shar Salasi for the Art of Diplomacy Challenge, a transformative 3-day event that explores the powerful connection between strategic communication and marketplace diplomacy. Unlock the skills to lead with empathy, build lasting relationships, and make an impact in the global business arena, all rooted in the strength and beauty of the African diaspora. Don't miss your chance to learn from world changers and spread your positive influence across the world. Reserve your spot today.